Hey everyone, so just following up from the mess of the previous video, after I ended the last video and figured out what I was doing wrong with the environment variables reading stuff, you guys might remember that I was using FastAPI to launch the app, and that was the only way to see the root loggers. But for some reason, when I launched through UVcorn, it didn't work. And my guess is that like UVcorn has its own like setup for logging and things like that that I am not understanding perfectly well. Um uh or something like that. But basically I realized that like it wasn't happening and I was trying to figure out. I still don't know exactly why, but I figured out that basically if you add, I'm just gonna move my face over here. If you add this line over here, dash dash log config logging config YAML, aka our logging config that I set up. And then if you do it, you can see that the all good message now comes instead of UVcorn. So that like kind of made me think about like how this should work and all of that. And I don't know if there needs to be a separate mechanism. I and since it's most likely to be UVcorn just on its own to start with when I launch, maybe later on we'll switch to Gummicorn or whatever. I'm sure they would also all have their own like setup, and if needed, like we can bring in some logging stuff if needed later on. Um, what this sadly means is that my setup logging config that I said would last a week is, well, an accurate statement. We're probably gonna get rid of it in this video. First, we're gonna focus on making sure that and the reason it's gonna go is just because I honestly don't like using or launching from Fast API. It seems to start up way slower compared to Ubicorn, which is just boom like that. And I think part of the reason is because their own tool wraps around Uvicorn and has additional overhead that they intend to potentially connect to their own service. Because I know that there's Fast API Cloud or something like that, where essentially Fast API is going to manage deploys for you. Um, which is not something I'm hugely concerned about. Even though that'd be easier, I feel like it'd be cheaper to just get some free credits from Azure or something like that and just deploy that way. Because everyone who signs up at the start gets like $100 in credits, something like that, for free. So just utilizing that, I think, would be better. Um, and that's what I'm going to do. I think I've already ran out on GCP credits. I already tried GCP. I think AWS and Azure I can still claim, so I'm probably get some free credits that way, and that's probably how I'll deploy. And it's like, yeah, I get it's harder than doing something like just using Fast API Cloud or Vercel or whatever, but it just I personally believe that making this a little bit harder for myself is the best way to do it, just because it makes things smoother later on, right? And I think I was talking to my wife about this. I think this is true in any aspect of life, anything new that you're going to start upfront, like, load up your effort upfront, right? Do as much as you can upfront, going way deeper than needed and all that, because once you do that upfront, the later on, like, it comes down eventually where you stop having to put nearly as much effort in to get the same amount of output. Like, I'm certain that doing this and doing everything like the right way and pushing myself to really think about it will make the subsequent additions and splitting up of this whole thing much easier. So anyways, getting back to this code, actually gonna just clear all of that comment out, clear this out. I don't know why this is complaining. We'll get to that some other time. If not, any is so actually this is very simple to switch out. If any is instance, um dx for dx in range len ENV bars. I'm just going to do this. IDX for IDX in range len ENV bars. Um, if huh, if ENV bars IDX is instance none type, um, um, how do I do this? Uh, none, not set bars. Because it's expecting an else. Okay. So basically, what I want to do right here, I just started coding before I actually did the thing, is essentially I want to create a good logging message so that someone who sees that and is like, oh my God, what's going on, would uh, understand what the issue is. Um, and showcase which ENB bars are missing, right? So basically what I did was if any is instance ENV var 9 times, so if any of the ENV vars um, in this second line is of type none type, then get the index of those. Honestly, I've done this twice, so mm, you know what I could do? I could just move this up because I'm just doing repetitive code, right? I could just do if tuple this, right? And then I could use the walrus operator as well. Um, because if this is empty, then this block won't run at all. So yeah, we can do that. So I think that's what I'm gonna do actually. If tuple this colon, and I'm gonna set the walrus operator, not set bars IDX. Hmm. Um, could I use a map for this? Function to be applied to each item of the purpose. This function can be. Oh, so I can zip these two up. Yeah, I could zip these up and do other stuff, but this code doesn't need to be cracked. It just needs to make sure everything exits out as needed. And my mom will calling. Just hold on, boys. Hey, so just getting back to this again. I am. Hold up, let me take my AirPods out because I don't think they need to be on for me to do this. um, just getting back to this. If not set vars IDX, ENV vars not set equals. Can I give it a tuple? I'm just gonna close all of these and test this on my PG. Um, test list 1, 2. Let's actually switch that to a tuple. 3, 4, 5, 6. Test. Print. I don't think this will work per se. Um, uv run pg dot py. What if I unpacked it? Um, index multiple items from list. Okay, I just have to do it again. Just have to do another comprehension. Ooh, this is items matching value condition. What is operator dot item getter? I'm gonna Google that. Operator dot item getter. Returns a callable object that fetches item from its operand using the operand's get item method. If multiple items are specified, returns a tuple of lookup values. For example, call gr returns R2, R5, R3. Okay, so it is exactly what it sounds like. Anything with a get item method, you can just pass in multiple indices. I don't understand why they say it as the call G of GR. Okay. From operator import item getter. How do you use operator data? Oh, okay. Okay, so I can just do returns a callable object that fetches item from its operand using the operand's getItem method. Equivalent to item getter star item, so any number of positional arguments. If len items equals 1, item equals items 0, def g obj return obj item. So it defines a new function and then returns that function. And then you're essentially calling that function. Uh, else def g obj return tuple object. So I could also just do this directly instead of just creating a different function. So if this is equivalent, then I might as well just do this. I think, yeah, I'm not under. I think like specifically if there's, for example, a particular situation where you have to access the same items in a list or in some other data structure repeatedly, some structure that implements the get item method, which is almost all of them. You can, and you have to access specific ones like over and over again. You can have this create a function for you, and then you can use that function repeatedly in other places. But for my purposes, where it's just like a one-off thing, I think this would be less heavy. So I'm just gonna do that. Message equals tuple. Oh, sorry, not there. Yeah, right there. Tuple, open parentheses, ENV vars to read IDX for IDX in not set vars IDX, like that. Message equals, I'm just trying to have a helpful message. Something along the lines of tuple, no, exiting out, exiting app startup, the following ENV VARs are not set. And then June ENV underscore. So let me turn this into an F string first so that will give me the code completions. Because I'm lazy. I love me my code completions. Okay. The logging dot get logger dot critical MSG sys dot exit. Okay, I'm just gonna comment these out for now. Have this start freaking out for no reason. Gonna launch the app really quickly. Logging level? Logging level's not set? Where's my .env? It's set. It's right there. Oh, because it's in the... That's right. So that actually needs to happen before that. Which is what I'll do for now. It makes sense to move that around. But also we know it works, which is nice. I have a question. What if I just pass the ENV file on its own? Because I know they have a dash dash env file method dot env. Oof. Exiting app startup, the following env vars are not set. Env. UVcorn env file. Just gonna check this. So I know there's a way to set up env files in and dash dash env file environment configuration file default none. What is the format of env file for UVcorn? Because it's not taking my .env file directly. Okay, then what's the problem? I have given it os-a, UVcorn, uvrun, UVcorn dash dash help. Where is dash environment configure? Oh, that's all it says. Environment configuration file. So then why is this not working? Keeps exiting out with logging level itself not being defined, but I'm giving it the ENV file. So what is the problem? And it's set in my ENV file. I don't know. Just gonna open up this GitHub issue. Wait, what? Okay. Then call it when it's obviously after uvcorn.run is already called. Let's hmm. Could it be the naming? It's maybe if I just name it dev.env. Uh dev. No, that doesn't work either. Is it because I'm giving like this? Oh, now both of them are unavailable. So that wasn't the issue. Hmm. Because I was actually hoping to get rid of .env and just use the flag directly, but I don't understand what's going on. Am I not in the correct directory? No, dev.env is right there. And it's not the naming. Oh, boy. This is confusing. Uvicorn not using my ENV file. You're not explicitly from the file within your application. To ensure Uvicorn uses your environment variables, you need to okay, so this is already installed. Amina. Okay, so this is just telling me to use .load.env, which is what I'm already doing. To ensure Uvicorn uses your environment variables from a .env file, you need to install python.env. The library is specifically designed to load variables from .env files into your environment. Okay, I'm just gonna check this issue out. Okay. Supposedly marked closed. Settings and environment variables. Oh, what? What is this? That's in the advanced user guide. Great. Hmm. Okay, I think I'm just gonna. Okay, so this blew out a little bit because I was trying to solve a different problem, and what I'm seeing here is essentially basically that with FastAPI, I shouldn't do that, really. I can just use Pydantic and have it do it for me, which is actually pretty awesome and probably the appropriate way to do it. Okay. Hmm. So I guess I could create my settings first and then do the logging stuff. Yeah, I think it's gonna be something like that. I'm gonna end the video, read this really quickly, and then we'll pick up from the next video. Kind of a nothing burger video. I'm sorry about that, guys. But yeah, well, essentially, I was just trying to override this mechanism, and I kind of have it right. But I also just kind of want to remove the reliance on dev env file. Like, I just kind of want to remove it altogether. along with having a place where all the ENV VARs are just set up. And Pydantic looks like a better option than doing this. So that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna see if it crashes out on me or not. Because that's the keys, right? Is if the ENV VARs are not there, then crash out. Um, so let's see how that goes. I'll get back to you guys soon. All right, take care. Bye. Okay, actually, bye now again.